Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2009 that was billed at the time as Richard Mille's first unisex model. Halfway between the size of the RM5 and the RM10, this is the RM023 in white gold. So, across the case, not including the crown, the white gold case measures 40 millimeters. In terms of thickness, it is 11.7, and from lug tip to lug tip, 45.2 millimeters. Now you can see the shape of the case. It is profoundly cambered on the bottom. So when you put it on your wrist, it arcs around the wrist, out of the hand and onto the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. You can see how the watch sits secure and comfortably. The ergonomics of RM pieces, absolutely legendary. From over the top, you can see that the ends of the case are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, so I could really recommend this for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. A lady with a petite wrist could absolutely wear this. Also, being under 12 millimeters thick, it's very sheer, but it's not thick. You could wear it underneath many cuffs. Take a look down the barrel, and it's even more obvious how far from the edges the edge of the case really is. The strap does sort of continue the arc of the case, and you can see that it even continues the evacuation of the case flank. So we have these little evacuated hollows on the edge of the strap. You can also see the strap is purpose-made for the case. It's matte finished. It is white. It features those recesses on the side, RM branding on the bottom, and you can see this is a brand new Richard Mille factory strap. No crimping, gouging, or discoloration. We have a buckle that is RM branded, made by Richard Mille's case supplier Valgine. You see their little V right there. And then we have G&F Chatelin's leaf spring deployant system. So you can see it is actually titanium. This is a system used by many, RM, MB&F, and many more, made by G&F Chatelin, a Chanel company that makes fantastic cases, bracelets, and clasps. So it opens with alacrity. You pull it a little bit. It offers a lot of resistance to keep the whole assembly closed, but when you want to open it, you pull it past a inflection point and it pops. And the same thing happens as you close it. Now taking a quick look, you can see the spring is a leaf spring structure, and it gives way to a buckle that in white gold is polished, satinated, and includes RM's signature spline screw. You'll find the spline screws assembling the case, and you will find the spline screws assembling the bezel. Taking a quick look at the bezel itself, you can see the watch is basically three primary physical structures. The case back, which is somewhat outset from the flank, and stepped out, it has a bevel that runs all the way down the case. We have the mid case with the little columns for the spline screw assemblies, and this is all vertically satinated. And then we have the bezel itself, which is beveled on its side with a polished bevel that runs all the way around. Now we've got a conical push-down crown with a polymer shoulder that's easy to grip. We've got the spline screws in high polish, contrasting with the satin of the bezel top. Note that the camber of the watch is also reflected in the shape of the top. You can even see that the crystal matches the arc of the watch, which is not an easy thing to do. Non-round crystals are difficult to assemble, fix, and make water resistant. Well, here, not only is it not round, it's sort of a rounded off rectangle, but it's also got that camber over the top. Very difficult to do. We have a carbon fiber flange that runs around the outside, and it acts as the mounting point for the individual indices. We'll do a loom shot now so you can see this watch in the dark. You can see the two hands as well as the hours. Now there's a second sapphire, and you can see on top of that second sapphire, highly stylized deposited metal Roman numerals have been applied, and this is the definition of black polish, reflecting light from only one angle. From every other angle, black. Taking a closer look, you can see the movement below. There is a skeletonized disc for the date, and we'll demonstrate some of the setting modes. This is your hacking setting mode. It stops the seconds hand, so you can synchronize to a reference time. And then there is a quick set that allows you to rapidly cycle that skeletonized date. It comes to rest over a white panel that effectively backlights it. And you can see quite a bit as the keyless works as well as the motion works. Motion works moves the hands, keyless works activates the setting and winding modes. That's all visible, and you can see it's all sort of different shades of gray. You can also see the use of the spline screws internally on the assembly of the movement. So while this movement is Vaucher based and built by Vaucher for Richard Mille, it is very highly customized. This is the case back view of the rotor winding automatic that has twin mainspring barrels and a 55-hour power reserve. There's a couple of things that are unusual here. Before we get to the brass tacks tech, let's talk about what's unusual. First of all, it's all made of titanium and skeletonized to reduce the sprung mass. You can also see that there are these two variable geometry white gold winglets on the rotor. Those can be moved to change the winding efficiency of the watch. So if you're very active, you might want to dial it back to preserve the winding system. If you're super sedentary and you work in an office like me, you want to maximize the polar moment or turning force. So you can go everywhere from low winding efficiency to max, and your RM watchmaker can set that for you. So we've got skeletonized titanium bridges and plates, a variable geometry rotor, and then we've got these little mounting points on the side, these 4 anchors. There's a little rubber elastomer in between the base plate and those anchoring points that provides extra shock resistance. So we do have the 55 hours of power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate. All this pivots on 32 joules. It's adjusted in a high horology style, 5 positions. High horology and chronometer, you generally see 5 positions, and that is exactly what we have right here. 50 meters water resistant. Taking a quick look, we also have a free sprung balance. Free sprung makes for very precise adjustment, but also makes the watch more shock resistant, as the index that regulates cannot be moved by shock. Only moving the eccentric masses on the balance can change the timing. Now you can see the Vaucher star just below the balance, confirming that this was made for RM by Vaucher Manufacturing. You can see they call it the RM023 movement in Richard Mille service. It's a good-looking movement and in good taste. Just about all of the pivot jewels are clear sapphires, which fits the grayscale aesthetic. It is nicely finished, though it's more of an industrial look than a horlogerie valet de jeu type aesthetic. This is a much more modern, tech-inspired, car-inspired, aircraft-inspired, workshop-inspired type of look, albeit in a watch that is designed for him or for her. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.